there are two main avenues to begin with for people. You either begin on the consultancy side. As a rule of thumb, there are more opportunities on this side. These are the firms that advise the landlords, the propcos, the developers, the funds. They are all shapes and sizes, but some of them are multiple thousands of people with a head office in Los Angeles. And because they're more corporate and established, they are used to running graduate schemes or intake schemes to accommodate many people searching for a job at once. So there are exceptions. Like I say, there are landlords and funds like Aviva and Aberdeen that run extensive grad schemes. But as a general rule, most people, when they come out of university, they find themselves in one of the large multinational consultancies. They build up their experience. They go from there. So that's the consultancy side. The other way to get into the industry or move in the industry is the landlord side. So those that directly own the assets in any capacity. This can be occupier, i.e. a Microsoft, for example, the corporate that owns the freehold to the buildings and has internal staff to support them. Or it can be a fund advising pension fund money or private equity capital or venture capital or hedge funds. It can be, any company that is via another party or themselves directly investing in the property. The general rule of thumb I find is people begin at the consultancies and then come to me after a couple of years, curious about what a move into the landlord side can look like. It's what I tend to deal with day in, day out, but I have seen the reverse as well. So I think what I want to make really clear here is there's no right or wrong approach into real estate. If you find a company you believe in that can train you and give you the skills you're looking for, please do not fixate on whether they're technically advisory or landlord. Focus on the profile of business. I'm just sharing with you very honestly that I have found in my 10 years, the consultancies tend to have the most established training and rotation-based programs to onboard talent and give them the qualifications they need for a career in real estate, as far as I've seen. Yeah. And then I'll just go quickly next and finally for this slide onto the types of roles I'm talking about today, because I think it's good to anchor this in some sort of context. My bread and butter is recruiting chartered surveyors for the most part. So those that work across agency, investment, development, asset management, landlord and tenant property management. And then as a parallel, those in the analytical space, like investor relations, investment analysts, portfolio analysts, research, data analytics. So it is quite broad. I think I have a specialism across about 15 different role types, but it's a lot more sane than it sounds because all of these roles interact. And in fact, it's completely viable for a candidate to begin in leasing agency, become a bit more numerical in that role, and then move into investor relations in 3 years' time. So actually, it's more of a homogenous cobweb where everyone kind of gets involved in different things and different strands than everything being totally separate. I really want to make that clear today as well, that one of the best things about being a surveyor or a surveyor adjacent kind of individual is the sheer breadth of choice you have. I think it could be a massive positive for people. It also, however, means that when writing a CV or promoting yourself, you have to be quite clever and clear in your language to make it clear what you're looking for. And actually, I won't go on to it now, but a lot of CVs begin with a personal statement of I'm this person and I'm looking for X. And I often find myself telling candidates you're being far too specific in that personal statement, because it's better to have a CV you're comfortable using across a few different roles that can be quite open, because there's so much choice in surveying, than sending the wrong CV to the wrong person that doesn't understand that you've just mentioned leasing when actually this role was more global occupier services. So very, very similar, but different enough to spook someone if you're talking about leasing. So I'll say that later, but I want to make clear in this slide the breadth of choice available, why it's such a positive, and why I think it's going to inform some of my advice a bit later on in how important getting the CV is right to meet the breadth available in the market.